Buddy.
How's your week, Trey?
It was a little bonkers, man. I teach the future, you know that. Um, so we're all doomed. But anyway, um, it was the last week of the 9 weeks, and it was our homecoming week. Why we have a homecoming as a middle school, I have no idea.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's what I had going on. But hey, I don't have work tomorrow, so I'm excited.
I bet that's nice. I normally work today, but I took the day off because half my family went on a beach retreat. And Eden and I got to hang out all weekend, and they weren't going to be back today till noon, so I just decided to take the day off and make a big weekend of it.
That's really good. That's a good reason to do those things. Hey, you know what I forgot to do?
What?
Start my own recording for the podcast. So hold on. It'll be fine. This is just sort of the pre stuff, and you could do the actual intro, yada yada yada.
Yeah. I figure we do a little banter anyway, and that's not crucial to the audio version.
Right. So you just tell me when you're ready to do the official intro, and
I would say just go ahead and start it, and we'll roll into it here in a minute.
All right. Well, there you go.
Welcome. Trey, how was your weekend?
Well, Travis, no, we're not going to redo it. People just joining us on the audio podcast formatting, I forgot to hit record. So sorry, you didn't get the usual opening banter, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. We're all here. Yeah. We're all going to talk about D&D. We're all going to have a good time. Have a good time, everyone.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, in true D&D fashion, I am ill prepared for this. I don't know why.
Hey, it's a class, though, and I've pulled it up and had a look at it. There's not a lot. This may be another one of our infamous short episodes, buddy. They evidently have not fleshed out Sorcerer much since they put it in 5th edition.
Really? Oh, yeah. Man. Yeah, they don't have as many, I feel like. Oh, I will talk about Wild Magic Sorcerers a good bit because I have one of those in my game, and that is the only one I have experience with, but it's my favorite. I don't care about the
others. Yeah. But yeah, we're talking about Sorcerers.
Yeah. So welcome to Favorite Terrain, your new favorite D&D tabletop RPG podcast. My wife in the background. Woo! Yeah, I'm coming live to you from my living room.
House.
Yes, my living room, and Trey in his office spare room there. But so if you see children running around the background, I claim them. They're mine.
Hey, like it says on our TikTok, we're two old dads doing stuff like children.
Something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines.
But yeah, welcome to Favorite Terrain. I'm Travis.
I'm Trey.
And we're Two Beards Play, and we do all sorts of nerdy content over here. You can find us on, if there's social media, we're probably on it somewhere. So go find us, Instagram, TikTok. We have a Twitter. We don't tweet. So, you know, a Be Real. Oh, we haven't done a Be Real. I've seen people doing that.
Okay, hold on.
It's all the rage with the middle schoolers right now, apparently.
What the heck is Be Real?
Okay, so from what I understand, never used it. I'm going to try to explain it from somebody who's never used it.
Here we go.
It's a feed where at a certain point in the day, you take your phone out and you take a picture, and it takes a picture with your front-facing and your rear-facing camera at the same time. And so you get like the real experience of what's going on around you, and then you upload that for the day. Did I hit it? Did I nail it? Yeah, Chelsea's saying yeah, so...
It may just be the old man in me, but that sounds so dumb. Like, I gotta be honest, like, I can barely remember to check the things that I am passionate about, like YouTube and stuff. So,
right. Yeah.
Why am I gonna be like, gonna take my double picture for the day?
Yeah, and it shows up like you're FaceTiming somebody, so the post is like a big picture of, like, you know, your rear-facing camera, and then left the top, like, little corner is a picture of your front-facing camera. And it's like, Why am I getting a screenshot of you FaceTiming your dad or something? Oh,
That's funny. Okay, well, we all learned something here today.
you signing up or you signing us up? Oh. But yeah, go look us up on Be Real. I'll probably set one up later tonight.
Two beards, be real.
It's the beard reel. It's just gonna be pictures of beard.
Yes, it's the beard reel. Dude, you got to take a picture of you in the mirror where both pictures is just you.
And that's it. That's the whole.
And that's the whole be real.
Oh,
That's good.
Yeah, but TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. What else matters? I don't know.
Everything matters. Subscribe.
Yes, Spotify. If you're a visual listener right now, you can find us over on Spotify and podcast form for this show. Everything else though is over here on the YouTube. That's our main source of Two Beards Entertainment.
Yes.
Not to be confused with Gnome Land Entertainment.
No, we don't know anything about those guys.
No.
Although I will say, I pop in periodically and look at our analytics because I like to do that from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
On the Two Beards thing, someone from a YouTube channel commented and said, "We've been Two Beards longer than y'all have been alive." And I said, "What? What is this?" I chased it down. They're like I don't know what it is, but there's no videos on their channel. Literally, they're just called Two Beards. And like they've only been on since like May of this year.
Yeah, so you got no you got no stock in that statement.
Like, you've got no credence or no credibility for such a claim, other Two Beards.
But I bet they like religiously watch all of our content because they hate us so much, and they're going to see this, and we just started a war.
Yes, I'm down. Let's do it. I've been living for this, Travis. This is what we've been waiting for our whole YouTube careers.
Yes, YouTube beef.
It was
drama.
It was just so serious. We've been Two Beards longer than you've both been alive, and I'm like,
what are they? What are they, like 60s?
That's what I'm saying. We are not young men.
No.
Wow. Gosh. I was like, because both of us put together easily hit like almost 70 years old, I'm pretty sure. So
that's hilarious.
It was quite funny. I had a good guffaw, and I was saving it for this show. Anyway, you want to talk about D&D?
Yeah, let's talk about D&D. Yeah, tonight we're going to talk about Sorcerers. Every week we spin the wheel of D&D topics, tabletop RPG topics, and a couple weeks ago it landed on Sorcerers. We skipped a week because they dropped the one D&D playtest content, the expert classes, and we talked about that. And so this topic jumped to this week, but if you've got a topic that you would like us to discuss, there's an easy way for you to do that. We have a Patreon. So patreon.com/twobeardsplay. We got some really cool tiers over there that are just tabletop RPG related. You can go smallest amount, which I think is like $5. You can suggest our next topic of discussion, and it will jump to the top of the list. We've already had one Patreon-sponsored podcast show, and we talked about homebrew items, and it was a blast. And so if you've got something you want us to discuss, we can do that. And so that's the way to go about getting your topic pushed up to the list. And tonight, though, we're going to talk about Sorcerers, and I've done a little prep work for this, so it should be a good show.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I've noticed the episodes where we do classes are pretty straightforward. Classes are what they are. If a class has many different options, it gives us a little bit more to talk about. But like we said at the top of the episode, not much has changed for Sorcerers since they put it in 5th edition. The big thing is obviously they're a magic user, and we'll get into all of that. And then you have all the different subclasses or subcategories. I think we did a monk show a while back, and it felt like that took a while because there were a bunch of different kinds of monks.
Yes.
But I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 Sorceress Origins or whatever. And so
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, sorcerers are one of the casting classes. Between the major ones at least, which would be sorcerer, warlock, wizard. Um, cleric and druids are kind of in there, but with the 1D&D stuff, they're going to be, I think, classified in the priest category. I think.
Yeah.
But as far as casters or magic users go, the top three are sorcerers, wizards, and warlocks. And what's cool, I think is cool about them, is where their source of magic comes from. So wizards are just brainiacs. They're nerds. They read all day, and they have just figured out magic through smarts. They read all the right books. They studied all the stuff, and they have control over magic via that way. But if they lose their book, they're kind of worthless. Their magic book, spell book. That's the word there I'm looking for. Warlocks get their magic from an external source, so something higher than them. Usually something, I don't know, bad. That they basically make a pact with, and usually whatever they make a pact with gets them and their services, and then the user gets magic from the deity or the monster or the demon or the devil or whatever they make a pact with. And then sorcerers are they cheat the whole system.
The way it was explained to me when I first got into D&D, because back then you only had like wizards and sorcerers. Those were the only two caster classes. Warlocks weren't around quite yet. And the way it was explained to me is like, clerics get it from gods, druids get it from nature, wizards are book smart, like you said. Sorcerers just sort of have a knack for magic. They're just sort of like, oh, I think that you should do it like bleh, and then they just do it based off of sheer charisma.
Yeah,
that's how it was explained to me.
Yeah. So, think about it as I don't know. It's like it's in your blood. Like for some reason, something happened a long time ago, and it's trickled down to you, and lucky you've got magic in your bones. You ain't got to study for it. You didn't have to sell your soul. You just get to use it, and everybody hates you for it.
Yeah. Basically, they're like, what the heck? You just can? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, that sucks. And you're like, not for me. I'm a sorcerer.
Yeah.
And so there are some subtle differences in how the magic works. The biggest thing is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but the sorcerers have spells known. It's not like you're a wizard, and if you've got it copied into your book, or you can use that spell. Since you only have a knack for this, you can only truly memorize, I guess, is the way I'm thinking about it. A certain amount of spells. It only caps at 15 with 6 cantrips. So that gives you 21 total spells that throughout your career as a sorcerer.
Yes. That is correct. Yeah, spellcasting is a little weird with sorcerers. And I don't know how they're gonna do it when 1D&D rolls around. I'm really curious because it looks like they're moving towards the you have access to all the spells and you can reset them at a long rest and all that. But sorcerers operate a little different, and from what I understand, you have known spells. You don't get to you just know them, and you don't get to reset them. And basically, you have spell slots per level, and this is like what you can cast the spells at. So, I probably should have read up on this, but because from what I understand, it's like you get spells, and then you can cast those spells basically at their highest level that you have.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of how I homebrew my stuff, where I say like you don't have to prepare spells. I'm just like, if you've got spell slots, you can cast your spells. Okay? That's kind of what I do. Just like if you've got the slots, you've got the spells.
So if they have a third level spell slot, Or I'm sorry, if they have a first level spell slot, can they cast level 3 spells?
Not right now because there's no rules for downgrading spells, but with the one D&D stuff there will be. But basically it's sort of like if you have, a second level spell slot, you can cast anything at that level or below at that spell. I don't care. Like if you want to burn a spell slot to just use a first level spell, whatever. I don't care. And then, of course, the higher the spell slot, you can either rev it up, or if you just need to cast whatever first level spell that you have, but you've only got a 5th level spell slot left, you can use it. It burns a spell slot, period. And then once you're out of spell slots for the day, dunzo on that magic. Of course, cantrips don't count because you can cast cantrips no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so spells work a little different with sorcerers. On the I guess the D&D Beyond the player's handbook source here, it goes into spell casting. Yep, your ability modifier is charisma. So for your spell save DC, spell attack modifier, and such. Excuse me. And then you have going into your first. Excuse me, Dinner's want to come back and say hello. Font of Magic, your first sorcerer ability. At second level, you tap into a deep wellspring of magic within yourself. The wellspring is represented by sorcery points, which allow you to create a variety of magical effects. So, sorcery points, I always kind of think of them as like key points, like the monk has, because they're points that you can spend. To do a whole lot of things. And this is really where the sorcerer finds its uniqueness in the casters, and finds its own thing. I just flipped over and saw Trey wasn't there. That's so funny. I did hear the baby whining in the background, crying in the background. So we'll have him come back in a minute. But so sorcery points. At level 1, you have 2 sorcery points. You can gain more as you reach higher levels, as shown in the sorcery points column of the sorcery table. You can never have more sorcery points than shown on the table for your level. You regain all spent sorcery points when you finish a long rest. Anyway, and so we're going to come down here. You can't see where I'm at, but further down in the information, you get things that you get to spend your sorcery points on. And as you level up, you get more really cool things you can do and more points to spend at the same time.
Yeah, have you talked about meta magic yet?
No, not yet. About to get there.
Okay.
And so the first thing it talks about is flexible casting. So it may not seem like you have a lot of spell slots to begin with. So 2 first level slots at level 1, but with sorcery points, you can spend them to enhance your spells that you're going to cast or to give you more spell slots. And so, for example, a level 1 spell slot costs 2 sorcery points. And so as you get up in levels, and you get more sorcery points, you can be like, I need a level 1. I need a level 1 point.
Yeah, so less magic, but it's more malleable, and you can use it in many different ways.
Yeah, and by 20th level, you have 20 sorcery points. And yeah, I'm looking at it, and for each level, you gain 1. So at level 2, you have 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4, and so forth and so on. So creating spell slots is a really cool way to use your sorcery points. And then we get into you can get into meta magic.
Oh yeah.
Which is different ways to cast your spells. I don't know. These are really cool. Just reading the titles, you have careful spell, distant spell, empowered spell, extended spell, heightened spell, quickened spell, subtle spell, and twin spell.
I've seen the twin spell feature be used a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says, when you cast a spell that targets only one creature and doesn't have a range of self, you can spend a number of sorcery points equal to your spell's level to target a second creature within range with the same spell. So, basically, if you're casting, Firebolt, but you like see two gobos there, you could spend those points and shoot two fireballs for the cost of one spell.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I've seen that happen a lot, and then I've even seen some good role play where subtle spell comes into play as well. So meta magic is a really cool way to lean into magic, kind of how I think, well, I and maybe most of us kind of viewed magic growing up. It's like it's just something that you can do, and you kind of feel it out and do what you need to do in the moment, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to kind of go over a couple of the other ones to give you an idea. Distant spell, when you cast a spell that has a range of 5 feet or greater, you can spend 1 sorcery point to double the range of the spell. When you cast a spell that has a range of touch, you can spend 1 sorcery point to make the range of the spell 30 feet. So you can turn a touch spell into a range spell, which is really cool.
That is really cool.
Let's see. Quicken spell, when you cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 action, you can spend 2 sorcery points to change the casting time to 1 bonus action for this casting. So that's really cool too. Yeah. And so, and I think, like I said, I didn't do my homework, but I think once you get into the subclasses, the Sorceress Origins, as they call it, you get additional things to spend these points on. So these subclasses, I guess that's kind of where we're headed to next. I have bunny ears on my head right now. Thank you, Claire Bear.
This is the most family friendly D&D show ever. You got bunny ears. I'm holding a baby. Like. This is it. This is the peak dadhood right now.
Let's see. Emily in chat. I feel like playing a sorcerer takes too much time for me since there's so much to remember and prepare depending on the level. I'm totally a rogue. Sneak and stab. Yes, I remember. Hey. I remember one time when we were playing the game and Jeremy was DMing, like our first game where we met, and Emily joined in. Maybe I was DMing. I don't know, but she had the Khajiit, not the Khajiit, the Tabaxi,
I knew what you
rogue.
meant. Yeah.
And we were playing Pathfinder, and she was OP. Like, she did her
shop. Emily knows how to build a she calls it the range roger because it's a combination of ranger and rogue. And oh my god, it's scary, y'all.
Yeah.
He's so good at it.
As a new DM, I'm pretty sure it was me as a new DM. I was like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, like you just have to roll with this, man. I don't know because she followed the rules. You know?
Yeah. And that's sadly also happily the nature of Pathfinder First Edition. You can get bonkers. You can get so bonkers with that.
But she also brings up a good point. I feel like that mentality is why a lot of people stay away from spellcasters because they're like, there's just so much. And, it's not like you can go with Sorcerer because it's quote-unquote the easier of the spellcasters. It's really not. Like, this whole meta magic thing, it's just as complex as having prepared spells in a spell book if you're a wizard, and all the different stuff that warlocks get to do. It is very daunting. I will say I've only played true blue magic users maybe once or twice, and it wasn't even like an ongoing thing. So, like, I get it. It's super daunting. Sorcerer tends to be the way I go at first. But I am leaning more into wizard stuff. I think when we played, Hadhod took a couple of levels of wizard just so he could do a little bit of magic here and there for the flavor I was going for. Yeah. But and it was really cool because you remember what Jeremy said my spell book could be?
Your hammer.
He let it be my hammer. He's like, you inscribe runes onto your hammer, and that's your spellbook. I said, that is the dopest thing I've ever heard. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And, man, we got to get Kote on this show, man.
Yeah, we just need to sit around and reminisce about the things. That's what
we'll do.
The first campaign and just talk about crazy stuff we did. Yeah. Yeah, and so from there, it goes into what they call the Sorceress Origins, or the origins of your magic. We got Clockwork Soul, there we go. Thank you, English teacher.
Aberrant
Mind, Divine Soul, Draconic Bloodline, Shadow Magic, Storm Sorcery, and Wild Magic. Oh, I love the Wild Magic. I love the Wild Magic. That is from what I understand, that is like the newest one. I know it's not one of the original subclasses. I believe that came out not too long ago. But let's see. And so, yeah, where do you get your magic from? So the Aberrant Mind, the first one, an alien influence has wrapped its tendrils around your mind, giving you psionic power. You can now touch other minds with that power and alter the world around you by using it to control the magical energy of the multiverse. So it kind of gives you a little flavor there of why you have this magic. And I do enjoy, I've had people play Sorcerers, really going into detail or maybe even role-playing out, like in the first session or two, whatever happened. Like the Aberrant Mind, like you could do some really cool stuff to kind of set up a character and have that influence. You know, it's been set up in like one of the first sessions, and then later down the line, several later levels later, have it come back. You know, bring that story back for that character.
Yeah. The Aberrant Mind feels it's like the closest to warlock you can be without being a warlock.
Yeah.
You know, this larger than you alien influence has touched your brain or you in some way, and that's where the magic comes from. But it's like you said, you can bring that in later. Like that's major plot stuff you could pull in later. But Aberrant Mind seems kind of cool. I would want to do like an Aberrant Mind sorcerer if we were playing more of like a modern suburban D&D kind of thing. It makes me think of what is it? I was just talking about it yesterday with some friends of mine. It's about this wizard, but he's in modern day times. Oh, what is it called?
Is it a show or?
It's a novel series, and they did a show on it. Oh. They're gonna kill me when they see this because they're just gonna be screaming at their phones. I'll think about it, and I'll.
If they're watching at their phones, they should be commenting. Be like,
well, I agree, but they'll probably watch it after the fact, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, as most of our views come from.
Clockwork Soul. Let's see. A cosmic force of order has suffused.
Dresden Files. That's what it is. Sorry. I had to get that out.
Suffused you with magic. The power rises from Mechanus, or a realm like it, a plane of existence shaped entirely by clockwork efficiency. Yeah, I don't like. That's just such a crazy way of getting your magic, and I'm like, how do you get this?
Well, this has got to be the magic for the Warforged sorcerer, right?
Ooh, okay.
You know, like that. With the moment it was like clockwork, and there's a realm of clockworkness, I was like, oh, then Warforged. This is where it's coming from. It's got to be, you know.
I gotcha. Yeah. Divine Soul. That was pretty self-explanatory. You know, higher realms, the good realms. Some deity or something from those. The Draconic. There. Dragons. Yeah.
Shadow. You even get like you get like special dragon stuff, like you get a dragon type thing, and you get more and more draconic stuff as you go along. It's a pretty straightforward thing, but it's really cool if you're into dragon stuff.
Yeah. Ooh, at 14th level, you gain the ability to sprout a pair of dragon wings from your back, gaining a fly speed equal to your current speed. That's cool.
Yeah, see, it's pretty neat. You can become very draconic.
Shadow magic. You're a creature of shadow. For your innate magic comes from the Shadowfell itself. And I love these little role play aspects. They had one for the Aberrant Mind, like your origin, which I was kind of skimming those when we were talking about it. But I love number 5. As a child, you had an imaginary friend that looked like a flump or a strange platypus-like creature. One day, it gifted you with psionic powers, which have ended up being not so imaginary.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. These quirks, though, did you read the shadow magic quirks?
That I was just about to. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, they're so. I was gonna. You want me to do it, or do you want to do it?
You go ahead.
I just like the way they're worded. Like, you can get a quirk because the Shadowfell is like creepy, dark magic kind of stuff.
Just read the
What?
last one.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. It's so good. But it's things like you are always icy cold to the touch. When you sleep, you don't appear to breathe, though you must still breathe to survive. But, you look like a dead body. It says you barely bleed even when badly injured. Your heart beats once per minute. You have trouble remembering that living creature and corpses should be treated differently. And the last one says you blinked once last week. So you just imagine someone role playing where they're just like, and they just get really good at not blinking. I'm like, that's funny, man. Like, to have little quirky things like this for a sorcerer is pretty dope.
Yeah. So that shadow storm sorcery. This comes from the elements. Your innate magic comes from the power of elemental air. And many with this power can trace their magic back to a near-death experience caused by the great rain. But perhaps you were born during a howling gale so powerful the folk still tell stories of it. Or your lineage might include the influence of potent air creatures such as Djinn. Whatever the case, the magic of the storm permeates your being. And then wild magic. Your innate magic comes from the forces of chaos that underlie the order of creation. You might have endured exposure to raw magic, perhaps through a planar portal leading to Limbo, the elemental planes, or the far realm. Perhaps you were blessed by a fae being or marked by a demon, or your magic could be a fluke of your birth with no apparent cause. However it came to be, this magic churns within you, waiting for an outlet. And that's it. That's all the sorcerer subclasses.
But explain wild magic. You gotta camp out on wild magic for a second.
Yeah. Like, I mean, all these are great. I'm sure they're all fine. I personally have experience with wild magic. We had a character who was a wild magic sorcerer. Okay. And so, well, I'll just read Wild Magic Surge because that's my favorite part. At level 1, starting when you choose this origin at first level, your spell casting can unleash surges of untamed magic. Once per turn, the DM can have you roll a d20 immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell of first level or higher. If you roll a 1, roll on the Wild Magic Surge table to create a magical effect. If the effect is a spell, it is too wild to be affected by your meta magic. And if it normally requires concentration, it doesn't require concentration in this case. The spell lasts for its full duration. Okay. So there is this table here, and I will pull it up on the
I've
screen.
even seen people, like in shows and stuff, role play this where their wild magic is just extra wild, and they just roll on the chart every time they try to use magic.
Well, I kind of altered it myself. So normally this takes effect when you cast a spell, and level 1 or higher, like it said, you roll the d20. If you get a 1, then Wild Magic Surge happens. It's great. Our party loved it so much, the character was like, what if I just, anytime I roll a 1, like, be it for a charisma check, or, I'm trying to stab somebody.
Skill roll, like, or, literally anything.
I'm doing a perception roll, okay? And so we were like, yes. And so we, that increases the chances of these things happening.
They're really awesome. Like, all right, so let's say I'm a sorcerer at Travis, and I'm playing in this game where we agree that's the rule. Anytime Trey Sorcerer rolls a 1, something bonkers is gonna happen.
Yes.
And so I'm in a situation, I rolled a 1, I rolled an 82 on the chart. What happens?
82.
I roll 82.
You can take 1 additional action immediately.
Oh, okay. There you go. See, sometimes it's not bonkers.
No, sometimes it's not bad. Sometimes it is. So
I rolled again.
Okay.
24.
24. Your skin turns a vibrant shade of blue. A remove curse spell can end this effect. Yeah. So we I mean, if you roll a 9 or a 10, if you roll a 7 or an 8, you're casting Fireball as a 3rd level spell centered on yourself.
On you.
Yes.
Ugh.
You have no control over this.
No.
There have been, it was so funny. I remember one instance. They were traveling the road at night. They set up camp on the outside of on the road near the tree line. They were hidden, blah, blah, blah. They hear something running down the road. Like it sounds like somebody jogging in the middle of the night. And the character who was a wild magic sorcerer, we didn't have a rogue. She was probably about the roguiest person we had.
Right.
And she's like, I want to go check it out. Okay. So she rolls for stealth. That's fine. She sneaks up to the road, and there's this man running down the road, headed the same direction I think they were going. Anyway, she's like, I want to come out of the road and try to scare him. So she rolls an intimidation check, and she gets a 1.
Oof.
And whatever number it is on here, I'm not going to sit here and dig through this, but it was.
But you remember what it was.
But it was a lightning spell, and it was like any creature within a certain range of you. So, like, say if she was like 5 people around her within like 30 feet, everybody would get hit by the lightning spell.
Right.
But it was just him. This guy was a mailman. This guy was just, he got like a 1st-class letter that he got paid real good for to deliver through the night. Like he was doing overnight express, and she comes out to try to scare him, to kind of like shake him down. Like, what are you doing out here? What's your story? Anyway, she trips, falls, the magic surge explodes, lightning comes from her body, strikes the mailman, and kills him instantly.
That's hilarious. I thought you were going to be like, she tries to do her intimidation, but when she opens her mouth, she just like spits lightning, and it's just like, hey, you!
We had one time where we were fighting a dragon. This was late game, and she goes to do something and rolls a 1. And for the rest of the combat, she had turned herself into a potted plant. And so not only are they fighting a dragon, they are like trying to keep her from breaking. Like,
right.
They're like taking turns passing the potted plant around. Oh my gosh.
I just randomly looked at one. It says, a unicorn controlled by the DM appears in a space within 5 feet of you, then disappears 1 minute later.
Listen.
Just imagine just like...
No, listen.
It's gone.
That happened during a combat, okay? And like it appeared right in front of the big bad guy, and the unicorn took a ton of damage. And so it's like this unicorn that just pops in, gets mauled, and then disappears back into its realm, which would be like the Fey realm. Okay,
Right.
Listen, many sessions later, we are adventuring through the Fey realm, and they find this unicorn out in the wild that is just scarred. It's healed by now, but it's just scarred.
No.
And like it looks like it's seen some stuff. And it was that same unicorn. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. That's actually hilarious. Found on the DM's Guild website.
Oh, I was going to say, I know people make their own charts for this, and they go well beyond a D100. There are people with wild magic tables with thousands of random things on it.
Well, I found one that I didn't want it to break the game. I didn't want stuff on there that would be like character killing or something really that would upset the players. But I found
that's why this went on D&D Beyond, not a sponsor, but they should be. It's a good fallback because they balance it. It's not like you said, it's not going to wipe the party just because the sorcerer rolled in that one,
Yeah. But I found one, and what was cool about it is it was a D100, but at first you rolled another D20, and it had 3 tiers of like extreme. So if it was like a 1 through 5 or whatever, it was okay. The middle one was like, this is kind of serious, and then like the top tier one was like, this is going to be really hard to deal with kind of stuff.
Right.
And so you would, you get your natural 1, and then you roll a D20 to see which tier you would get, and then you'd roll your D100. And so let's say if it was a 2 and you got the middle one, So for each number, it had 3 different options. And anyway, it was all it was wonderful stuff. And we all agreed that it was a good list. And so we used it. Another one I'm looking at, 93 and 94, your size increases by 1 size category for the next minute. In combat, that adds some fun.
Yeah, that changes the dynamic of a fight real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, we had several times where her hair fell out.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Your hair falls out and grows back in 24 hours.
Yeah. And there's some good ones in here. There's a spectral shield that hovers near you for the next minute, granting you a +2 bonus to AC and immunity to magic missile, which is crazy.
That's insane, because the one rule with magic missile is it always hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you imagine that happens and you just take magic missiles and then they just don't do anything. Everyone's going to be like, what the heck is that? You know, they're going to think, those NPCs are going to think you are way more powerful than you actually are.
Oh, I love this one. 3738, 1d6 flumps controlled by the DM appear in unoccupied spaces within 60 feet of you and are frightened of you. They vanish after 1 minute. So we were we were in a store in town, and she rolled something like she was either trying to like sleight of hand something or persuade or whatever. There was a roll. It was a 1, and she got this, and I think I got the max amount of flumps. And I'm just gonna pull up a flump if you don't know what a flump is, but these are.
But the thing is, flumps are good monsters. They're like one of the few good monsters in D&D. Yeah. So, like, they're super good, super benevolent. They try to help adventurers whenever they find them. So, for the fact that these things get summoned to her and are afraid of her is, like, heartbreaking, you know? Like,
yeah, these are small. I got a picture pulled up. Small creatures. Okay, we had 6 of these, and they were terrified. And you want to talk about like 6 tiny bulls in a china shop or whatever the expression is? Like, they were running into everything, like freaking out. Why are we here? What's the intelligence level? I can't remember. It's a 14. These things.
Well, I see that they have a stench spray.
Yeah.
So that means I'm sure you utilized that most vigorously when they were scared.
I probably did, but these
okay.
Telepathy. Okay, so the languages are okay. I might have had them screaming in the ears or in the brains of people around them, but anyway, it was chaotic. And
it sounds like a good time. I love me some good chaos magic, man.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, so that's my favorite sorcerer class for that reason. And actually, let me pull up. I don't remember what that was like. You get this at level 2 or level 1, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. You get Tides of Chaos. Let's see. Starting at first level, you can manipulate the forces of chance and chaos to gain advantage on 1 attack roll. Oh, this was fantastic. Ability check or saving throw. Once you do so, you must finish a long rest before you can use this feature again. Anytime before you regain the use of this feature, the DM can have you roll on the Wild Magic Surge table immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell of first level or higher. You then regain the use of this feature. So basically, you're like, hey, I'm going to use the Tide of Chaos. Can I have advantage on this next roll? And as a DM, I'm like, yes. But then I get to choose the next time you roll on the Wild Magic Surge table. Like, it's up to me.
Yeah, and if you couple that with your homebrew rule of anytime she rolls a 1, you could say just randomly, not even roll a 1, hey, roll on the Wild Magic chart for me. Yeah. Just whenever you feel like it would be most awesome.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, as a DM, you will find the most opportune moments to allow to make them roll on that table. Like the most intense, like creeping through the dungeon. There's a beholder on the other side of this wall. Hey guys, let's figure out a plan. And then I'll tell the I'm gonna say Khajiit because I can't remember the Tabaxi, Wild Magic Sorcerer. As you guys are all gathering around conversating, the dust from the old stone floor and walls are creeping through the air, and you got a slight tickle in your nose, and you feel a sneeze coming on. And as you release the air from your nostrils, roll me a wild magic surge.
You made her sneeze wild magic.
Yes.
That's great. I love that. That's so good.
Yeah. Ben Luck, at 6th level, you have the ability to twist fate using your wild magic. When another creature you can see makes an attack roll, I see you. My wife being a weirdo in the background. An ability check
That's how
or
you
say
get views on the internet.
you can use your reaction to spend 2 sorcery points, roll 1d4, and apply the number rolled as a bonus or penalty of your choice to the creature's roll. You can do so after the creature rolls, but before any effect of the roll occurs. Anyway, that's kind of like inspiration, kind of,
Yeah.
or guidance, maybe. You just basically like, hey, here's a d4 to either penalize or help somebody. At level 14, you get controlled chaos. So whenever you do the wild magic table, you get to roll twice, and then you get to pick the number of the one you want to use. Yeah. Anyway, so good stuff. Good stuff.
So don't sleep on sorcerers, everyone.
Sorry, my wife and my child are laying in the floor with their hands and their legs up in the air doing whatever just to be a distraction.
Well, it happened at the perfect time because I'm holding Jubilee and I heard a deep gurgle from deep inside her and I was like, oh, whoa, hold on, what's happening? So I was like, are we throwing up? What are we doing? You know, so it just got very, very focused elsewhere for a moment.
That's so funny. All right, well, that's Sorcerers. You got anything you want to add, Jay?
No, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. I will be very interested to see what they do with this class when 1D&D rolls around. That may be why they're not doing a lot of updating right now, because or like adding things, because they're like, hey, everything's about to change with 1D&D, so we might as well just pump the brakes on putting out new stuff and just sort of let it be for a while. Because the only thing they've got coming up right now are adventures, I think. Because they're finally getting us back into
Dragonlance?
Dragonlance, yes. Dragonlance is finally coming back, so everyone's excited about that, but that doesn't change mechanics. So, I don't know, maybe that's kind of where they're pumping the brakes on it. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here to adjust, because if you look at the chart for the Sorcerers, you basically just get one of two or three things every other level, and then you're done, you know, and then you have to really rely on things like wild magic to make it interesting. So I think there's some rehauling they can do with this, because sorcerers are one of those classes where I think people go to because it's less intimidating, but at the same time, like Emily said, it's still a lot to keep up with, you know?
Yeah. All right, well, we can roll the wheel. And
let me send you said wheel.
Okay.
Share link. Copy to clipboard. Oh, and I gotta send it on Facebook. Hold on. Quit pushing us around. Why am I in the Two Beards Facebook? Here we go. Da, 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 da. Side note, Travis, you excited for that Super Mario movie?
Yeah, it looked really good.
Cool. Yeah. All right, there you go, buddy.
All right. Well.
Oh, bless you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, bless you again.
That's weird. Anyway. All right, so screen share. And there's a picker wheel. Don't mind all the ads for Lowe's. Let's go full. Oh, that went full screen.
Lowe's is definitely not a sponsor.
No. All right, we're going to spin and see if we get stuff we've already done before, because that seems to be what happens.
We shouldn't. I saved it and made sure that it was as it is, and I double-checked.
Hobgoblins.
A race. Another race.
Yeah.
Hobgoblins. I have got a great Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin. I have a great hobgoblin story to tell you next week for this. So this is going to be good.
I'm excited.
Yeah. The races are fun. They're turning out to be a good time.
Yeah. I've grown to enjoy making the NPC every time.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the episode. Thanks for hanging out with us. Remember, you can catch the show live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Did I get it right?
Correct.
All right. Yeah. Central Time on YouTube and Twitch. And then after the fact, it'll be up for watching, and will also be the audio version will be on Spotify. So go check us out wherever you want there. And I think we're going to look into getting it up on more podcast formats for people who don't like Spotify, because apparently that's a thing.
Everybody's got their preferences.
Yeah. Go check us out on YouTube. Don't forget to sub. Give us a 5-star review if you're on over Spotify, and give us a follow if you're on Twitch. And go find us on TikTok and Instagram, where we do a little bit of and Chelsea in the background. Be real
and be real for that one picture we're gonna take.
Yeah. So all the things, and most importantly, if you like what we do here and want to support us, two old family mans here, go find us on Patreon. Patreon.com/2beardsplay, and go see if any of those tiers tickle your fancy, because I'm sure if you're a fan of this podcast and a fan of tabletop RPGs, there's something for you there. A little extra content for your monies. So I think it's gonna be it. Next episode's gonna be hobgoblins, unless Wizards of the Coast decides to drop another Unearth Arcana.
Oh no, they're not going to do that at least for another month and a half, so I think we're okay.
All right. Well, I'm Travis.
I'm Trey.
And we're Two Beards Play.